Yo guys, what is up? Today making Legend PvP school tier list. I made this last year. I might try to link it in the description, but the meta has changed so much, school identities changed so much. Everything's different. I'm not even sure if the Shambos were out when I made the tier list last year. So this time is going to be completely different. Let's get right into it. So this is like really surprising, honestly, especially compared to the history of PvP. And obviously it's debatable. I think 6 and 7 are debatable. And then if you want to throw in 5, maybe, but I'd kind of disagree with you. I'm actually going to put Ice at number 7. Basically, as like most of you probably know, Colossus got nerfed recently. Whereas it used to basically put feints on the opponent in exchange for shields and then hit. Which was like totally busted, and Ice was like super dominant. People were warding to Ice at higher ranks. But now without this spell, and the fact that like damage over time counters are like pseudo common, especially on certain schools, even if though I haven't queued a bunch on my Ice, and even though Adam Spear is on top of the boards, I personally feel like Ice struggles to do damage. Now that's not to say that Ice can't be good. I think especially that like Tamaji's decent for sure, and I think that you can like really hurt people with Woolly Mammoth if you have decent damage on an Ice, like decent offensive stats. But generally speaking, I think Ice like kind of struggles to deal damage, and if you rock the provisional life talisman because your pips are not amazing, and you get those like guaranteed satyrs off when you want, then your HP is literally not even that high. Like I have like meta gear and like only 400, 4,400. Like basically my life has the same amount of HP as my Ice, which is like really surprising because Ice's, at least before, like I guess if you don't run healing Ring of Thame, like maybe if you go like an aggro kind of Ice with no healing, you could have closer to 5k. But yeah, for the literally just for the difficulty in doing damage output, and then it being slightly difficult to have perfect accuracy and pips, unless you run like CJ staff, but then your offense is even worse. I would personally put Ice at number 7 right now. Now we're gonna move on to number 6, guys. Not sure if I'm gonna edit the video too much. I guess it depends how fast my transitions are. Kind of wish I did that one faster. But anyway, number 6, and the one that I think is like switchable with number 7 is actually going to be Fire. So, I mean, I don't think this is going to be surprising to anyone. It might not be true, but I feel like Fire is probably the rarest school you encounter in queue, at least before the recent patch. Maybe now it's Ice in terms of like new players wanting to queue on that, if people hear that Ice is dog right now. But Fire, really not the best in my opinion, although I do think it can maybe be good. The only like I have a couple friends that have like an okay rank, kind of like around veteran on a Fire at legendary, and what they use is basically trap stack with Elephant, or I guess you could use Ever. If they shield, you have Elephant. If they don't shield, you Ember Everburn. And yeah, I guess you have Ifrit as a tech, but your HP isn't that high. You probably struggle to balance your accuracy and your pips like Ice does, but Fire's accuracy is even lower. And then obviously its HP is quite significantly lower. I'm not sure the exact HP on a Fire right now, but it might be somewhere between the 35 to 3800 range, and maybe that's a high ball, so it might be like 3300 to 3800 or 3700 in total. You can use Brimstone Revenant. Your Shambos, I think, are a bit strange. They put like damage over times, which can be like decent, I guess, but probably not the best, at least at lower level in terms of the utility of some other schools' Shambos. But yeah, guys, I was gonna go to Fire School honestly, but then I just wanted to go to Fire Cat Alley for the vibes. This is only on this account I don't have like a Legend Fire right now or anything, but yeah, with Elephant, as you've seen in the overpowered spells video. I don't know if they can maybe try to utilize Immolate at Legend. But yeah, personally right now, for all these reasons, I would put Fire at number 6. Okay, next up, guys, number 5. This one's debatable in my opinion, but personally, I think as of right now, I was talking with some friends, I might put Storm at number 5. Even though, and I guess I don't want to spoil, but um, let's go. I mean, I don't know, it'd take a while to get to the Jesuit tome. I could try to go to Triton, but I'm pretty far away. I think maybe Storm number 5, just because against a lot of schools, it's like probably a struggle. I just think that personally, Storm is good against Life, and the reason for that is obviously Storm has the highest DPP, and Life kind of relies on healing to actually win its matches, so it kind of makes sense that if there's any school that Storm is going to be good against, it's probably going to be Life, especially that Life not having access to, for example, Gnome Treasure Card has actually trouble dealing high damage. Like the reason why Life was like pseudo broken, at least up until recently, was because of kind of like they can kind of heal and get away with it. Goat Monk can get away with it, get that passive healing, and they just kind of end up winning exchanges. But yeah, I would put Storm at number 5 personally. Just they don't have high HP. Um, then I guess you kind of TC hit, you Wild Bolt. You can like carry this. You can have a Storm Elf pet. But maybe in terms of reliability is the reason why you can Insane Bolt, but maybe in terms of reliability, or Wild Bolt, sorry guys, is why I would put it at number 5. Although I think that the case can be made to place it in number 4 if you're good and you know what you're doing, and you basically, if you play basically every turn or every turn -1 perfectly on a Storm, I think you can personally be pretty hard to handle for a lot of other players. But I think in general, in terms of kind of like OPness and consistency, I would put Storm at number 5 right now. So we're going to have number 4, and we're actually going to put Life at number 4. That's the one that I was kind of debating whether Life should be at 5. But, I mean, a lot of people find like Life is like Jadeable and like really annoying and potentially really good, which is why, in terms of consistency, you might be able to argue that Life is better than Storm right now. So obviously, I mean, I've queued quite a bit on a Life. I might have the most matches played on a Life this age, or this season. So you have like Lumi. Let me put my, just check my rank deck. Where is it? This one. So yeah, guys, you're gonna have Goat Monk, which you can combo the Lumi into the Goat Monk for the passive heal, as well as like the damage from the little blade. What else we got? We got a trap counter with Centaur, which is situational. You're gonna bubble a lot. You can heal yourself with Satyr. You know, use the, I like the Life Shambles a lot actually. The counter the dot, counter traps as well. Healing, Ring of Thame. These are the ones. I guess I'm not training a pet right now. I don't have my PvP here, but yeah, Claw of the Spirit Wolf. You know, the outgoing. You can heal yourself. Some people like told me to use like Regenerate, but I'm like trying to heal the least possible on my Life. I think the number one problem Life has is damage output with, for example, Gnome TC being banned specifically for Life because of the double dispel, which is really unfortunate. But yeah, I think that's why. I also think, yeah, the reason, I mean, you could argue Life is kind of low, but I think it's not great against the schools that are above it. So that's number 4, I believe. Now we're down to our top 3. And something really interesting, guys, that you'll notice is the elemental schools are actually the bottom 3. And you can like maybe, you know, fiddle around a bit with like if you want to try to put Life below Storm. But yeah, pretty crazy if you think about it. Even though historically, Fire and Storm have probably shared the worst school in PvP title basically since the inception of PvP, or more or less. Death used to be really bad, like early in the game, but I'm not sure if like even like back then if players like Gorman, for example, were good on their death. I'm not sure, but I did first age death PvP, a lot of it, and until like Deer Knight was released for multi PvP, um, at low level, I'm pretty sure like death was pretty mid, but Fire and Storm historically struggled a lot, and now they're near the bottom. Storm is a bit good for whatever reason. I don't know if like maybe the fact that Surge got banned, and Storm has stronger treasure cards than other schools. that might make Storm like a little better. I don't know if that's what changed it, but nice little water lily here. So anyway, guys, number 3, and this is like, you could, maybe it's controversial because of the boards, I don't really know. But it's because the people on top of the boards are like literally just like good players. It's like Joseph Ghost and like Alex Gem. But I would put Balance number 3, and especially Balance without Lore Master. Actually, Balance without Lore Master, I'd actually probably put it under Life, to be honest. Like, it'd probably be in 4th, maybe even 5th if you wanted. But with tier 5 lore, which I actually don't have because I just came back to the game recently. I don't have enough like gold keys and I haven't bought packs for it yet. I think Balance with Lore Master is like really good. Like, if you like ever watch a Joseph Ghost play a match, basically they use like Putrefaction a lot, Doom and Gloom, Locust, you know, to clear traps. Where is it? My boy Locust, you know. Hydra, obviously very good right now, especially if you carry Fire Wand, hits, clear weaknesses, clear fire shields, and then if they have any remaining shield, even like a random death shield or something. So you're facing an ice, you're facing anything, get that fat fire hit, and then otherwise, where is it? Rank deck. Otherwise, if they don't have any shields, you can use TC Hydra. You can also, I don't know if I have any on this, I have it on another character, but you can use the 6-pip Oni spell. I think it has 680 base or something like that. Oni No War or something, I believe. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You also have the Gearhead Destroyer, which is a great tech and really messes a lot of people up for a lot of different spells, where you can push a damage over time to the other player, or steal a heal from a life or something like that. So I think that pretty much covers why Balance is like really good, and it just counters a lot of schools, which kind of makes sense because it's Balance. Also, I've heard that like, well, I personally from playing, I know that Balance is better against Storm than Life is, and my friend said that like Lore Master, the weakness from Lore Master really messes up Storm. I think it's probably really good against Fire too. A lot of schools, Lore Master's great. Probably against Death as well. So that's number 3, guys. Although some people would move it up, some people would put it number 2, some people would even put it number 1. Then where's my? Oh yeah, he's at Ugly Boots right now. But this character that I'm bringing up to do Death Legend on my main account is Death is gonna be number 2, guys. So basically, like obviously I don't have all the spells, but I think Death is super straightforward. If they shield, you poison. Even for weakness, you can drain with Wraith treasure card, drain with Dr. Von treasure card. Endless Horseman's a decent hit. I think it's 5 pips now. You can use the Spellamented Vampire to gambit weaknesses off the opponent, like infections if you trifold spam and put minus 60% weaknesses. That's really good. You have Banshee, where you can clear blades off the opponent for weakness and infection. So like you basically like just spam debuffs on the opponent, and then you drain and you use bubbles a lot. You can doom, you can dead zone. Death is really good stats, has really high damage at legend when this character is going to go up, which is really good stats. Like the HP is like a tiny bit worse, I think, than some other schools like Ice, Balance, and Life. But Death is really, really strong. And like does not really have many weaknesses at all at legendary, in my opinion. So that's 6 schools covered, guys. Last, but obviously not least, because I'm personally putting it number 1, although I think you can argue it's in the top 3. The top 3 might be there's some wiggle room, but personally, in my opinion, just because of how there's like a few, I didn't really mention this earlier, but there's a few criteria for how I rank these, which is basically how easy it is to play, like how consistent it is, like how reliable, like you can just use one strategy and kind of stick with it. And number 1 for that, although Death is very good in that scenario, or like in that way of evaluating it, is going to be Myth. Specifically for the reasons I talked about at the beginning of my overpowered spells video, where basically Stone Colossus is messed up and doesn't make sense. You punish your opponents for protecting themselves from a hit while you're hitting them. Doesn't make sense in my opinion from a logic point of view and game balance. If they have shields, you can Minotaur. If they weakness you, you can Stone Colossus. And the problem right now with Myth, although like some people sort of manage to counter it, is you can really just like buff stack, like you just PvE strat, and it's very likely you can win the game. You just buff up TC blades, regular blades, and then just, yeah, just go to town, and then if they don't stun block, you can Medusa, and then really get them down bad and hurt them with something like a Ninja Pigs, which has really high DPP. But yeah, guys, I think that's going to be the tier list. Let me know what you guys think. I hope the audio in general was okay. I'm not sure how much, if I'll edit it or not in the end, because I just like switch between the characters, but that's my thing. So if anyone wants a recap right now, I would put Ice or Fire as number 7, right? Then number 5, 5, 6, you know, you could say Storm and Life, right? So that would be 5 and 4, and then 3 would be Balance, 2 Death. But you could even argue Balance or Death like this if you want, and then 1 Myth. But you could really, like, you know, it's really a toss-up. It's kind of what I'm thinking. Ice and Fire at the bottom, Storm and Life, then Balance, Death, Myth, whatever, however you want to put them. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Let me know what you agree with, what you disagree with. And I think that'll be all for me today. Have an amazing day, guys. Take care. Please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.